graduates have the educational and experiential opportunities to become genuine citizens of the globally connected world you will be entering when you receive your degrees. Long a supporter of the arts, President Bollinger created the Columbia Arts Initiative to enhance the role of the arts across many facets of the student experience and university life. In proposing that the university invest in long-term growth in Upper Manhattan, he's also paved the way for the building of a new campus just 10 blocks north of us, with fabulous new facilities being planned and being constructed for work in the arts, in business, in neuroscience, in international and public affairs, as well as in engineering, among many other purposes. A prominent advocate of affirmative action, he played a leading role in the twin Supreme Court cases that upheld and clarified the importance of diversity as a compelling justification for affirmative action in higher education, and continues to be one of the nation's most important spokesmen as the Supreme Court takes these issues up again in the coming year. A leading First Amendment scholar, he is widely published on freedom of speech in the press and currently serves on the faculty of the Columbia Law School, and he also regularly teaches wildly popular undergraduate classes. It is indeed my great pleasure to introduce to you the President of Columbia, Lee C. Bollinger.
Thank you very much, Nick. I want to welcome all of you to Columbia. You are fortunate to be here, and we are fortunate to have you. I also want to welcome and thank the parents and families of our newest students. We know what a poignant moment this is for each of you. This is always a signal moment in the lives of families, a moment of transition, of pride and accomplishment, and of some concern. It will not surprise you to hear me say that Columbia is one of the most selective, sought-after educational institutions in the world. But I know it will give you comfort to hear me say that Columbia ranks near the bottom in national standing of party schools. Very expensive, aren't cheap. I really have just two quick things to say to our newest students this afternoon. I want to say something personal about why a great education like you're about to receive is incredibly valuable to you and offers you a lifetime of rewards. And then I want to say something about the era, about the bigger world in which you will, during this time, be at Columbia, and about what this means for your education here and for your life after you leave this institution. First then, the value of a great education. When people speak about the values of a university education, they sometimes point to better employment opportunities and greater lifetime earning capacity. Sometimes we speak about training future leaders and better citizens. We think about developing habits of intellect that will serve you well in whatever endeavors you undertake. It will give you a base of knowledge from which you can draw and build in the future. A corresponding respect for knowledge. An active curiosity about the world. A healthy dose of doubt and skepticism. A comfort with diversity of peoples and perspectives. A capacity to reason, to listen, to persuade and exercise good judgment, and even at times to find wisdom. We speak too of your personal growth, of how you will form bonds that will last forever. Perhaps you will even find a spouse. And of how you will have experiences that will change your lives undeniably. All these things are true. But from my point of view, there's one more that I would add. You are about to make lifelong friends, not only with classmates, but also with some of the greatest thinkers, writers, poets, and artists of human history. And I mean here something more than just knowing the great works. I'm talking about becoming friends with just a few. People to whom you will return again and again over the course of your lives. For me, among them has been Shakespeare and Montaigne, Virginia Woolf, Thoreau and Aldo Leopold, Wallace Stevens, and a few others. I read and look and listen over and over again to these writers and artists. And I never tire of their brilliance and of what they can teach me every time I return to them. They are among my best of friends, always there. Late night when I can't sleep, on Sunday mornings when life seems freer, on airplanes and trains, always in my luggage. I feel smarter when I'm with them. My thoughts are better and more interesting. And I relate to them not as an academic, scholar, and intellectual, but as a person. Sometimes, like all close friends, they chastise me when I've been away for too long. But very quickly, we're back on track. And I am astounded always by their brilliance and wonder how I could possibly have wasted my time away from them. We will be together forever. When I die, I hope I will be clutching one of these volumes, or looking at a painting, or listening to this symphony. This is what you have to look forward to. It's not just knowing things or having a better intellect, but it's the relationships you build with other minds who are great. There's nothing remarkable about my choices, but they're mine, and you will now have yours, and you should look forward to this treasure in your lives. The second point I want to make has to do with the time during which you're in college and you will live after you leave here. To be sure, there are many things going on right now that appear to define this era. The Great Recession, chronic high unemployment, inequalities of various kinds, wars, conflicts. But the one I want to emphasize at the moment is globalization. The integration of communities, of nations and peoples through markets and investments, and through the first truly global communications technology, the internet. What we are witnessing today is so recent, only a decade or maybe two, and so profound. The rise of China and other emerging economies, which together now produce half of the manufactured goods we consume and hold half our debt. 2 billion people and more every day connected for instantaneous communication. All this is profound, and yet we have yet to grasp its full significance, its potential, and its problems. Universities across this country are adjusting to this new reality, some by setting up branch campuses. Columbia is already the most international of any American university by any dimension. But we too must help our faculty and our students better understand this evolving new world. And all across this institution, there are efforts to that end underway. And I want you to know this, that you arrive here just at the moment when we have now created the network of 8 global centers across the world, ready to help you experience better, firsthand, ground, what is happening. The centers are up and running in Paris, Istanbul, Amman, Nairobi, Mumbai, Beijing, Santiago, and Rio de Janeiro. In 3 weeks from now, students and faculty who have developed several study and research programs using multiple centers will have a conference to talk about how it's added to their education. This year we have a pilot program where students stay for a 5th year and take courses on globalization and then pursue research projects at several centers around the world and return at the end to sum up their experiences. Various schools and faculties are now using the centers to work on issues like educational reform, poverty alleviation, prevention and cures for disease, economic regulation, issues involving differential treatment of groups, environmental problems, and freedom of speech and press. Many other important issues in an increasingly integrated world. A central premise of all of this is that while we have much to contribute to a world desperately in need of help, we are far too ignorant of the world as it is in order to make the contributions we should and must make in the decades ahead. And if that's the case, a reasonable and perhaps necessary cure for that ignorance is to be out in the field, physically present, working on actual problems, and taking advantage of that magic that makes for our presence in a foreign country as a base for incredible learning thereafter. We need to think of ourselves now as explorers again, hoping to discover a new world. So I urge you while you're here to seize this particular dimension of your own education and take advantage of the many opportunities that are already now available. But here's my promise to you. If you come up with ways you think you can enhance your education while you're here, using our new global centers, alone or in groups, come to us with those ideas, and we will do all we can to help make that happen. We are absolutely committed to helping you, while you are at Columbia, better understand the world you will live in and lead in this century. So on behalf of the entire institution, I wish you well in forging new lifelong friends for a lifetime of learning, and in experiencing the exciting and needy world that will define your lives